Well, there is a method to their madness, and it has shown some positive results. So, but if we could just get the parents to understand how they do that, I think we could succeed even better.
We know there's been calls to Maryland, well, the State General Assembly, to have more of a cleanup effort for the Chesapeake Bay. What do you think we need to do for that?
Well, first of all, let's stop raiding the Bay Restoration Fund, which is how we balance the budget this year. Secondly, we need to recognize what one of the biggest pollutants of the Bay is, the fertilizer off our lawns. That is actually one of the major pollutants that flows into the Chesapeake Bay. You and I don't think about it, but we need to be made more aware of that. We need to go forward and make a public effort, either through the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, or I suppose DNR could launch some sort of program too. Wouldn't cost us very much to just make people aware that when you are putting fertilizer on your lawn, you are poisoning your environment, and there are other alternatives. I'm a big fan of natural bugs and other natural type organic fertilizers that won't poison the environment. They also won't poison your pets or your kids, which is a plus in my book. Another big thing that we have, especially in my neighborhood in PG County, is everyone goes out on the weekends and washes their car. All the soap flows straight into the bay as well. And there are environmental alternatives. I mean, you could just go to a car wash, which recycles all of its water, and we need to make people aware of that, because I'm willing to bet most people don't even realize that all that water in a car wash is recycled. But we also need to make them aware of other environmental alternatives. Ultimately, you need to choose to be a good steward of the environment. Nothing that the state does, nothing that the state mandates is going to make you a good steward. You're going to choose to do it because it's the right thing to do and because the products are better. And that's where I'm standing right now on the environment in Chesapeake Bay.
We're going to change gears and talk about education here. Now, in the state of Maryland, it seems that we have more of a funny scale here. We have schools in the top 10 in the nation when it comes down to our education, but we also have schools in the bottom 10. What do you think we need to do to improve this?
Well, it's funny you should it's funny you should phrase it like that, because PG County is a perfect microcosm of that. Up in the north end of the county and the far south end of the county, we have fabulous public schools. My kids go to public school. My wife teaches at a public school, so I'm getting very familiar with this. Maybe a little bit more so than is good for one. But one of the ways we can address it, and it's a way that they've started to address it already, is through the National Board certification process. Think of it like a bar exam for teachers, or an architect's exam to be a registered architect. They're high-intensity coursework that makes you focus on how you teach, not necessarily what you teach, and how you become a better teacher. One of the things that the county is crying for is these National Board certified teachers to move into these not so well performing schools. But what incentives are they giving the teachers? They actually cut most of the incentives this year for even getting this certification. My wife happens to be National Board certified. Having gone through the process with her, I see its value. I think every teacher should be National Board certified. I think one of the most valuable programs that they could do is to not just pay for the training and not just give you a small stipend, which is what the state is doing, but to actually give you merit pay based upon you moving into this school and helping it improve. Maybe give you a $20,000 bonus if the school jumps from bottom 10 to the mid-tier, and then another 20 when you bounce up to the top tier. Actually incentivize not just the National Board teachers to pass on their knowledge to other teachers, but incentivize the teachers in those schools and the principals in those schools. There's nothing wrong with incentivization. We already know that NCLB is the stick. If you don't do it, you're out, you're fired. I mean, a school district in Rhode Island failed NCLB and fired every teacher in the entire district. Fired the principals too, as I recall. So there's the stick. We need the carrot.
Right.
People react much better to carrots.
Now, of course, as we just mentioned about the Rhode Island incident they had just recently, now, of course, with all the budget cuts that we're having, unfortunately, some of the teachers are going to be victims of that as well. What do you think we need to do to resolve that situation?
Well, the situation in Prince George's County, as I understand it, is that most of the pupil personnel workers are being laid off and fired. Now, the pupil personnel workers form a integral link in the school community. They are essentially the people who grease the wheels between the principal, the teachers, and the community. Most of them speak Spanish, which is the largest minority language in Prince George's County, though we do have, at last count, about 150 of them spoken. So they play a very valuable role, and they were the first ones cut. Now, when they were talking about balancing the school budget earlier this year, they were talking about laying off some of the central administration staff as well. Now, that staff has over 1,200 people. And the school district itself is divided into 5 regions, each of which has its own bureaucracy. We need to consider whether or not that's a good use of our valuable resources. I think keeping 90% of the money in the schools insulates the teachers against being fired. It insulates bus drivers who have to get the kids to the school. It insulates the school lunch ladies who have to prepare lunch for all these students, many of whom this is their only meal of the day. But instead, we decided to keep the central administration staff, which I have no great love for, and I know many of the teachers in the county have no great love for. They have improved over the years, but at the same time, they are your single largest line item. Each one of them makes almost $100,000 or more. Name one teacher that makes that kind of money.
Right.
I get rid of one of them, I save 2 teachers. So, I mean, that's the first way we can do it. The second way is to just look at our priorities. Prince George's County Public Schools has a lot of real estate, an awful lot of real estate. They don't use a lot of that real estate. And what were they doing? They were trying to buy a building down on Pennsylvania Avenue when they have 5 or 6 central administration buildings that would serve the exact same purpose. They just don't look as nice. Now, I'd like a building eventually that looked nice too, but I want to use what resources I have. If these buildings are excess, let's sell them off. Let's rent them out. Let's make some revenue from them. That's going to save jobs.
Well, Mr. Papanikolas, I enjoyed talking with you.
Good to talk to you.
Now, for more information on Mr. Papanikolas, please visit his website. It's jasonfordelegate.com. And all other information about Mr. Papanikolas, please visit our website on thehillmedia.com.